The college track and field season has been going for some time now, and what that means is that the Division I National Championship meet is clearly on the horizon. But the secret to winning a national championship really isn't a secret at all. You get incredibly talented athletes to put on your uniform, and then you ask them to go out there and be talented all at the same time. So if one of those top athletes chooses to stick around in college for a while, we just have to get used to seeing their name near the top of the leaderboards, like Joseph Bombele doing the 1-2 double in 2022 at the University of Florida, and Julian Alfred doing the exact same thing a year later for the University of Texas. Both of their teams won national titles in those meets, so it's pretty clear that the uniform they're wearing actually matters. But as of late in the NCAA, the uniform these athletes are wearing seems to keep on changing. The transfer portal is a very real thing, and it's also why it's incredibly hard for me to keep up with who runs for what school anymore. And you don't have to believe me. The evidence is all around us. At the time I'm recording this video, Saminu Abdul-Rashid is one of the fastest men in college in the 100-meter dash. He runs for South Florida, but that's not where he started. He was at Florida Memorial just last year in the NAIA. And Favor Ashe of Auburn, also with a transfer, formerly from Tennessee, which is actually in the same conference, the SEC. He's ranked right behind Saminu in the top 5. But if you travel down the leaderboards just a little bit, staying inside the top 10, you're going to find Zacchaeus Beard. He runs for Northwestern State, but formerly from Langston University, once again in the NAIA. And no, this is not just happening on the men's side. The fastest woman in college at the moment I'm recording this video is Jacia Sears from the University of Tennessee, but she is formerly a transfer from the University of Miami. Mackenzie Long is not far behind her in the top 10, and she runs for Ole Miss, but formerly of NC State. Apparently everybody wants to leave the ACC. And Denisha Page also runs for Tennessee alongside Jacia Sears, but she formerly used to run for Rutgers in the Big Ten. I only gave you names ranked inside the top 10 for the 100-meter dash. That's one event on the national leaderboard to make it clear that I'm really not making any of this up. And now the NCAA is changing its transfer rules again, and that is going to have very real consequences for track and field, especially when you consider that it wasn't invented with track and field in mind. I totally get that the transfer portal is here, and I understand that some athletes are going to use it, and it might even be a benefit for some of them. But overall, the world we're about to live in is going to come with a lot of consequences, and I owe it to you to let you know what they are. But if you're new here, I have to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best high school track and field recruits in the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comments section, because I try to read them all. So I'll tell you exactly what the new rule is and all the problems that come with it, because I am not the first one to sound the alarm that the freight train is coming. That would be Joel Klatt, because college football is who this rule was invented for, and he already knows it's a problem for them too. Effective almost immediately. NCAA athletes, but I'm specifically talking about the track and field athletes, because of course nobody else is. They will be able to transfer as many times as they want. In theory, you can transfer every single year of your college career now, and be eligible to compete immediately once you get to the new school. The only thing you have to do is continue to make adequate progress towards your degree, whatever that actually means. But it's nearly impossible to truly understand it without taking a look at college football, because remember, this rule was really about them. They will now have 2 transfer windows. The reason why this is important, because in college football, they are a fall sport. They don't have a winter season at all. And in the spring football is just a glorified practice, to be honest with you. Where FBS football is special is that they give out 85 full-ride scholarships to the entire team. In short, the transfer portal allows an athlete to play musical chairs with their career. But everybody knows exactly how many chairs there are at every single school, and every single chair has a full-ride scholarship underneath it. And the transfer portal was designed to turn every single one of those football players I just described into a free agent. 2 times out of the year, which means the college football coaches now have to recruit the athletes on their team to stay there, while trying to figure out how to recruit new ones to begin with. Joel Klatt of Fox Sports, who covers college football, has made it very clear that this is not sustainable. College coaches can't really do their jobs under these parameters. But college track and field is not football, not even in the slightest. There's nowhere near as many chairs for you to go looking for when the music starts playing, and every single chair doesn't have a full ride scholarship underneath it. For the record, this is the real reason why a lot of the same schools keep competing for national titles year in and year out, because they're the ones that have the maximum amount of chairs and the maximum amount of scholarship dollars underneath those chairs. They can even convince some 4-star level recruits to come to their programs without a scholarship. The NCAA recruiting class of 2024 commitment list is proof of that. Just think about how practical this actually is. There will now be 2 transfer windows, technically, but college track and field has a cross-country indoor and outdoor season that runs all the way through the school year. One window will now be in December, and another one will be all the way in the spring. The only real way to enter the portal in December is you first have to quit on your team in the middle of the year. If you wait till the end of the year, in the spring, to enter the portal, that does make a lot more sense, but it brings up the old problem, the same one college football has, the free agency problem. Any legitimate track and field athlete knows that the most valuable ingredient to your future success is your relationship with your coach. If your goal is to actually improve, you're going to need a coach who has a plan to get you there. And normally that plan is not just a 1-year plan. Anybody who is not at least a high 4-star level recruit is going to need a lot of work before they're able to compete at the national level in D1. So if athletes are going to keep leaving from the top programs as well as the lower programs, it's going to screw up the whole game for the coaches. Because now, how do you build a plan to focus on developing an athlete when you're not even sure if they're going to be here next season? And I really don't know how to say this next part without it coming out harsh, so I'm gonna just come out and say it. College track and field, for almost every athlete who makes it to that level, specifically in Division I, is going to be the first time in an athlete's career where they really get pushed to the brink. The amount of pressure you're gonna get in coaching to develop because you really weren't that good to begin with. I'm sorry, if you're a 2, 3, or even a 4-star level recruit, you ain't doing what them 5-star kids are doing. At least not yet. So it's probably gonna get a little uncomfortable when your coach is trying to push you to be the best you can. And those types of moments are what normally makes athletes want to transfer. We know that's what's happening in college football because athletes who aren't getting enough playing time or whatever it is are hitting the portal left and right. The current structure of the portal seemingly incentivizes an athlete to leave. But that assumes that you have somewhere good to go in the first place. The likely consequences for this policy, if the athletes treat it the way I think they will, are going to be as follows. First, some of them are going to go to a school and not get a scholarship when they thought they would. Some of them will underperform, both on the track and perhaps even in the classroom, which is only going to make coaches even more likely to look back at the same transfer portal you just came out of to find someone else to replace you. And if that is in fact the case, even 2 or 3 times during the year for any college coach, the overall quality of coaching that athletes are going to get throughout the divisions is going to have to go down. Remember, in professional sports, athletes have contracts. They can't just become a free agent whenever they really feel like it. Certainly not on a year-to-year basis. And if your argument is that track and field athletes at the college level are basically like professionals, I ain't buying it. Because I went to the Tom Jones Memorial and they did not charge me $1 for admission to that event, even though it was basically the biggest invitational, at least on the sprints, for the entire season. It's really hard to call someone a professional athlete when people don't even pay for the product. I know that the transfer portal is here now, and it's probably not going anywhere. And I understand that if I had access to this level of free agency, I probably would have exercised my freedom. But be careful what you wish for, because now that anybody can hit the portal, basically whenever they want, it also means that coaches can look to replace you, basically whenever they want. So if you are a college athlete and you're considering entering the portal, just keep in mind that you might be able to get a spot at a bigger and shinier school. But next year when the portal opens, somebody else is going to come into it. And I'm pretty sure that your spot is the same one they're going to try to come for. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.